Hi everyone, welcome back to Good or Good Enough. I finally saw Thunderbolts, and here's my little review. So this film is very interesting, it's very mixed. The story is basically Yelena, who is reflecting on her past. Her and others have been tasked to kill each other when they find out that they're supposed to be destroyed as well. They discover a person named Bob, who Val is unaware survived experiments for the Sentry program. Val wants Bob to be a superhero. The Thunderbolts end up working together to stop Val. A villain is unleashed, followed by a final twist, with one of the post-credit scenes advancing the overall story. The trailer made it seem fun and funny, entertaining, but the film is very dark and does focus on mental health. It is better than Captain America: Brave New World, but still a weaker film overall. The name change idea is mixed, because right now they're doing new name reveals for the poster where they're ripping off the Thunderbolts name and revealing New Avengers. So they're definitely having fun with the film, but it's not performing well at the box office. It does do the Marvel humor thing at points when it's serious. There's a conversation between Alexei and Yelena, which is actually serious, and there's no jokes in it. So they are able to do that. They just don't do it all the time. I would say to see it at the cinema if you really like the theater experience. If not, then I would suggest to wait till it comes out on streaming. But it also doesn't have a bad runtime. So with all that being said, we'll now get into spoilers for the film. So Val convinces Bob to become Sentry, but it backfires when he starts to think he's a god and that Val is using him. Val uses the kill switch that previously wasn't working to kill the Sentry when she unknowingly unlocks the Void. Bob fights the Void for control. They defeat Bob and the Void by giving him a hug and calming him down like the Hulk, switching him back to just Bob, so that he has control over the Sentry and the Void. Yelena and the team are lured in front of reporters by Val, who introduces them as a new Avengers. And then Yelena tells Val that they own her. So Val planned something like this, but she didn't expect that everybody was going to like this new team. So she realizes that and decides to capitalize on that moment by using them. But it does backfire because she's kind of screwed. So they both are holding each other hostage in a way. So it's kind of an interesting relationship that resulted from this reveal. And there are two end credit scenes. The first one is the Red Guardian's Wheaties box joke, which is funny. But then the final after credit scene is the most important one, and apparently the longest one ever in the Marvel film. It says 14 months later, the team are being sued for copyright infringement by Sam Wilson, who apparently has put in the copyright, has applied for a copyright for the name, like a trademark name of the name Avengers. So he's suing them. And then Red Guardian reveals his idea, which is to change Avengers to having a Z in place of the S. Anyway, so then they are alerted to a ship that is coming into the atmosphere after Yelena says that the government is keeping things from them. The monitoring system zooms in and reveals that it's the Fantastic Four ship. So people are saying, why did they show that? That technically says that it ruins Fantastic Four, which we do know the overall plot to Fantastic Four, so this does make sense. But the final question is, who is actually in the ship? Could it be Victor Von Doom? Could it be Galactus? Could it be the Silver Surfer? Maybe. It's got to be Fantastic Four or Doctor Doom. Now I'd like to talk about some favorite moments from the film. I really like Yelena's intro. It's really cool. She does a really awesome fight scene. This one, it's super cool. And then I really liked US Agent. US Agent is really funny. I didn't see the Winter Soldier Captain America series, but I think they really fixed this guy's character, as well as maybe his acting too, because the character seems really well-rounded now. Like, he seems like a really good character. The way he is really interesting. I think they've kind of made him seem more like a captain, so, you know, like kind of more Captain America-like, because he comes up with a lot of ideas. He's kind of a leader at times. He's kind of smart with what he does. He's very tough, which is good, and he's very violent. I like when US Agent does his mag throw, like this right here. He'll be shooting, and then he just throws it away. Really reminds me of John Wick, like little details to make it a little more realistic. I really like that. He has a lot of mags too, but he's so cool. I like his fighting style. I like his stance. The way that he stands is really cool. His stance like that his stance is super awesome. He looks super good in the costume too, I think. Another favorite moment is when Taskmaster is killed and US Agent and Ghost start taking her stuff. Like, that's so dark. They really should have been the Dark Avengers. They are so dark. I mean, he's just taking their stuff. Like, that is so random. The other scene that's funny is when they're trying to go in the tunnel and they have to work together, and so they go back to back like that. So funny. That was a pretty good scene. There's a cucumber joke because Bob's about to sneeze. Super funny banter and all that. This part when US Agent is right there when he shows up, and that's so funny. Hilarious. I also liked when Bob first flies into the sky after he sacrifices himself as a distraction. But this scene is so cool. He stands up, his eyes change colors, and he takes off. He's floating. So cool. And he just flies into the sky. And it flies really, really high. Really awesome though. So cool. It's kind of scary too, I thought. The other one I like too is the Winter Soldier when he comes after them. This is a good scene. It reminded me a lot of the Terminator. Bucky even does, he loads a shotgun with one hand, but he arrives like the Terminator, which is interesting. Yeah, see, he just shows up, and it's like, I don't know if that's the point of it, if he was supposed to like be referencing the Terminator or not, or John Connor maybe. That's so cool. The scene is really awesome. I really liked it. And it looked cool to see Ghost in broad daylight with her powers. It's because, I don't know, it looked really cool. I liked that Bob puts Val into her own sort of nightmare. Yeah, this part was pretty interesting. No one's untouchable. Even Val, like Sentry or Bob, whatever, the Void puts her through a traumatic experience that she's experienced, which is nice to see that she's kind of got some issues also. Pretty nice. It's kind of like when Thanos went to the Soul World, or the deleted scene with Tony Stark seeing his daughter in the future. I also liked the big meeting at the end with Val. The sound and the music design, it's kind of scary. And then US Agent, of course. The scene is pretty awesome though. I really like it. They introduced Sentry. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. It's a really good, I guess, a good use of the Sentry's power. I've been reading comments that the Sentry is holding back. He's trying not to really hurt these guys, but he's also just naturally that strong. The fight with Sentry is pretty interesting. All this throws everyone around, just absolutely destroys them. in a non-death way, of course. But it's pretty cool, though. It's cool to see a character like this on screen. Pretty awesome. I do like when he switches to the Void, because then he's a black silhouette with white eyes. Yeah, that Sentry, or the Void is cool. Look, with his silhouette and white eyes. It looks really awesome, I think. And now I'd like to get into things that I would fix. The mental health theme seems necessary, but I think it's exaggerated, and it drags on a little too long in the third act. But it then turns out that that's not really the twist, because Val sees the moment that everyone cheers for the Thunderbolts and then labels them the new Avengers. So yeah, I'm not sure about the mental health part. It really makes sense for the Sentry and the Void to have that aspect to his character, but they also changed the character too much, and they deviated too much away from what the Sentry, the Void, and Bob Reynolds really is. But I think they added the mental health thing when they realized, hey, this story is going in that way. Let's use the mental health theme to market this film, and to basically make it look like superheroes have issues too, I guess. Even though we know that, when Ghost kills Taskmaster is very bizarre, because Taskmaster should have, I don't know, possibly dodged it, but all of a sudden, something like this happens when usually it's plot armor for why this stuff doesn't happen. Because Ghost could kill anybody then. She could do this to Thanos and shoot him in the head. She could do this to anybody. But since, they wrote that Taskmaster is gonna die, she dies. So I don't know if that really made sense. They had already gender swapped the character anyways, so people didn't really like that. It would have been cool. Maybe it's found out that she steals the Taskmaster identity from the real Taskmaster. That could be a reveal later on, because it's supposed to be a male, not a female. I don't know why they did that. Like if you change Superman to a girl, it's Supergirl. So they could have made this Taskmaster the daughter of the real Taskmaster or something like that. So the first half of the film is good. The second half is okay, but then the third act with the mental health stuff is a little annoying. I feel like it could have been shortened and maybe added in something else for the future of the plot. Like maybe the Void shows them something about Doomsday, or I don't know, something more like that. Maybe ties it in to the previous Marvel stuff somehow. The one thing I didn't understand was that there's like 3 super soldiers, but they all have different degrees of the serum. When Bucky captures them and they're tied up, US Agent and Red Guardian could easily get out of the tie wrap stuff, the rebar and all that's holding them together, but they don't. And then there's one time where US Agent jumps really far, and then there's another part where he gets in the way of falling debris, and they all team up to push this piece of cement over, which is kind of unnecessary. They could have let it fall, I think. And then it turns out that even Black Widow has a little bit of enhancement, which they don't entirely cover, but if you search her on Google, it comes up with an explanation that says that she's slightly enhanced as well. So I just don't understand that 3 of them have the super soldier serum, yet none of them use it to the fullest. Like if I had it, I would be jumping all over the place. I'd be grabbing 3 people, throwing them on my back, maybe 4, running somewhere, dropping them off, coming back, grabbing more people, which I'm sure they could do that. Red Guardian could pick up 3 or 4 people probably and run and move them somewhere and come back and do it again. So if there's 5 of them with 4 people each, they can move 20 people at a time, and it would have looked a little better, I think. And then also, where are the other characters? Why didn't Spider-Man show up? Why didn't Doctor Strange come over? Or why didn't Bucky call other people? He could have called Falcon. He could have called Hulk. He would have been like, hey, I need some help. There's a guy who's really, really powerful. And maybe they do fight him. And Hulk suggests, hey, I think we should talk him down, you know? And it would have ended the same way, but there would have been more characters in it. And it would have been like Deadpool Wolverine with a bunch of characters, you know? I think that they changed the Sentry too much. The fight with him is pretty interesting, but the CGI is terrible. Like, there's no weight to the animation. I don't know why they approved that. They could have worked a little bit longer on the scene, I think. And the next thing is, if this movie is theater worthy, I say yes. It has great sound design, not the best CGI at times, of course. But the movie is very colorful. It looks great. A lot of cool stunts, nice set pieces. So if you're into the theater, I say see it because of that. Other than that, I think you should wait till it comes out on streaming because it's not really that amazing. It tries to do what it's done before, and I think they shouldn't have done that. The story is forced and okay, but it's too serious because they're all going to be killed and end up working together until they meet Bob, where they end up forming a team. Again, Val is the real twist when she labels this team as the new Avengers to the public, which is the idea that she saw and got when she noticed how everybody liked the Thunderbolts after they saved everyone from the falling debris. So yeah, I say save your money because they could do better. And Kevin Feige has now come out and said that he knows all this and that he's fixing this and that he has a plan for the next 10 years of Marvel. So now it's time for my final thoughts for Thunderbolts. I think it's pretty entertaining. I had fun. The trailers definitely kind of changed what it should have been. The people are saying it's a very good film, and a lot don't like it. They don't like that there's mental health stuff in it, even though, you know, and the other side of that discussion is people want to get away from that. So I don't know. It seems like everyone's happy and annoyed at the same time. This is also a messy result of the Kang and Doctor Doom pivot that they made years ago with Jonathan Majors. The writer strikes also affected this film, as well as already planned deadlines. So that's why this movie is kind of like this. It's just a real mess on the production side. The story was supposed to include Thunderbolt Ross. And so they had to change the meaning of Thunderbolts. It's a soccer team name or football team or whatever. So, and that's not what it was supposed to be. It still uses the out-of-place Marvel humor in serious moments, except during the discussion with Lexi and Yelena, when they actually get serious and discuss Yelena's issues. The Sentry is way too powerful. The only way to beat him is with the mental health stuff. They had to talk him down again. I think the mental health thing that people are complaining about was something that they added later when they realized that they could use this to market the film. It is one of the stronger films as of late. So it's not an entirely wasted potential, but it still missed the mark for a lot of people. I do like that the twist wasn't Bob or the Sentry that Val unknowingly created. It was more that she is trying to save herself, so she is trying to figure that out. And then she realizes that she's gonna use the Thunderbolts as the new Avengers, and this should all work. She does mention her plan is to become unimpeachable by having Sentry take out the Thunderbolts team. So, but she does seem like an Amanda Waller character, always ready to sell somebody out or backstab someone. So in conclusion, the trailer made it seem fun and funny, entertaining, but the film is dark and does focus on mental health. It is better than Captain America Brave New World, but it is still a weaker film. The name change idea is fun and cool, but strange and kind of mixed. It does the Marvel humor thing at times. I say see it if you love the cinema. If you don't, it doesn't matter. I say wait for streaming for sure. So that leads me to my final rating for Thunderbolts. I think that this movie is good enough. And that concludes my review of Thunderbolts. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please comment down below who you would have added to the Thunderbolts team. And what do you think they're going to be doing with Bob Reynolds' Sentry the Void character in the future, since he seems really, really powerful. And I'll see you in the next review.